I walked into the living room that fateful night, the house quiet except for the faint hum of the refrigerator, and there she was, my daughter Ella, tangled in an embrace with her best friend Audrey on the couch, their lips pressed together in a kiss that stole my breath away. My heart slammed against my ribs as I froze in the doorway, the grocery bags slipping from my hands with a thud that echoed like a gunshot. Ella's eyes snapped open, wide with horror, and she pushed Audrey away, but the damage was done. In that instant, the world I thought I knew cracked wide open, revealing secrets I'd never imagined lurking in my own home. Ella scrambled to her feet, her face flushing crimson under the dim lamp light. "Mom, it's not what it looks like," she stammered, but her voice cracked, betraying the lie even as she spoke it. Audrey sat there, her short black hair disheveled, her lavender sweater rumpled, looking at me with a defiance that made my stomach twist. I'd known Audrey for years, since the girls were in high school, inseparable like sisters, or so I'd thought. She was the one who helped Ella through her awkward teen phases, the one who stayed over during sleepovers that now replayed in my mind with a sinister filter. How had I missed this? Was I that blind? Wrapped up in my own life, my job at the law firm, my failing marriage to Tom? The questions swirled in my head as I stood there, the air thick with unspoken accusations. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but instead I turned and walked out, my mind racing. In the kitchen I gripped the counter, knuckles white, trying to steady my breathing. Ella was 22 now, fresh out of college, working at a graphic design startup in Seattle. Audrey, the same age, was pursuing her master's in psychology at the local university. They'd been friends forever, sharing everything: clothes, secrets, dreams. But this was more than friendship. This was something that society still whispered about, something my conservative parents had drilled into me as wrong, unnatural. Yet here it was in my progressive West Coast home, staring me in the face. I thought of my own youth, the crushes I'd buried deep because they didn't fit the mold. Was this karma? Or just life throwing me a curveball I wasn't ready for? Ella followed me into the kitchen, her footsteps hesitant. "Mom, please let me explain." Her voice was small, pleading, a far cry from the confident young woman I'd raised. I spun around, my eyes burning. "Explain what, Ella? That you've been lying to me? Hiding this relationship?" The word stuck in my throat like a thorn. Audrey appeared in the doorway, her posture straight, but I could see the tremble in her hands. "Mrs. Harlan, it's not a lie. It's just us. Us." The simplicity of it hit me like a slap. They weren't just best friends. They were lovers, partners in a way that challenged everything I believed about family, about normalcy. That night sleep evaded me. Tom was away on a business trip, oblivious as always, leaving me to wrestle with this alone. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind a storm of conflicting emotions. Part of me wanted to protect Ella, to shield her from the world's judgments, but another part, the part raised in a small Midwest town where church was mandatory and differences were sins, felt betrayed. How would I tell Tom? He was traditional, set in his ways, dreaming of grandchildren and a white picket fence life. This would shatter him. And what about Ella's future? Jobs, friends, society, they all came with invisible barriers for people like her. I imagined the whispers at family gatherings, the sidelong glances from neighbors. Was I strong enough to stand by her? Or would my own fears drive a wedge between us? The next morning, breakfast was a battlefield of silence. Ella poked at her eggs, her auburn hair tied back messily, avoiding my gaze. Audrey had left early, citing a class, but her absence loomed large. Finally, I broke the quiet. "We need to talk about this." Ella's fork clattered against the plate. "What's there to talk about? I love her, Mom. I've loved her for years." The admission hung in the air, raw and unfiltered. Love. Not a phase, not experimentation. Real aching love. I felt a pang in my chest, jealousy? No, envy. For the courage she had that I never did. "But what about your life? The plans we had?" My voice rose, laced with desperation. Ella's eyes filled with tears. "My life isn't yours to plan. It's mine. And Audrey's in it." As the day wore on, I buried myself in work, but the thoughts gnawed at me. Emails blurred on the screen as I replayed the kiss, the intimacy I'd interrupted. Was it my fault for not seeing the signs? The late-night giggles, the shared glances, the way they finished each other's sentences. Or was it society's fault for making them hide? I called my sister Linda, the only one who might understand. She's gay. I whispered into the phone, the word foreign on my tongue. Linda paused. And? She's still Ella. Her nonchalance stung. Why couldn't I be like that? Accepting, modern. But deep down, fear clawed at me. The fear of losing my daughter to a world that might chew her up. By evening, Tom returned, his suitcase thumping in the hall. I debated telling him, my heart pounding. Ella was out with Audrey, giving me space or perhaps avoiding the confrontation. Over dinner, I blurted it out. Ella's in a relationship. With Audrey. Tom's fork paused midair. Audrey? Her friend. I nodded, watching his face cycle through confusion to realization to anger. That's not right. We raised her better. His words echoed my inner demons, but hearing them aloud made me defensive. Better than what? Loving someone. The argument escalated, voices rising, until Tom stormed out to the garage. Alone again, I wondered if this revelation would cost me my marriage too. The price of truth was steeper than I'd imagined. Ella came home late, her eyes red-rimmed. We sat on the porch, the cool Seattle air wrapping around us. Dad knows, she asked softly. I nodded. He's upset. She sighed, leaning her head on my shoulder. I didn't want to hurt you guys. But hiding hurts more. Her vulnerability cracked something in me. For the first time, I saw her not as my little girl, but as a woman forging her path, paying the toll of authenticity. Yet the road ahead loomed with obstacles. Family rejection, societal scorn. Would she survive it? Would we? The days following the revelation blurred into a haze of tense conversations and unspoken resentments. Tom barely spoke to Ella, his disappointment manifesting in curt nods and early retreats to his study. I found myself caught in the middle, torn between supporting my daughter and salvaging my marriage. Every morning, I'd wake with a knot in my stomach, wondering if today was the day everything fell apart. Ella, meanwhile, threw herself into work, her designs becoming more vibrant, as if channeling her turmoil into art. Audrey called often, her voice a steady anchor in the storm, but I couldn't shake the image of them together, the intimacy that now defined their bond. One afternoon I met Audrey for coffee, insisting on neutral ground. She arrived looking composed, her bob haircut framing her sharp features, but her eyes betrayed anxiety. Mrs. Harlan, I know this is hard, she began, stirring her latte. But Ella and we've been together since senior year. Senior year? That meant years of deception under my roof. Anger flared. Why hide it? Did you think we wouldn't understand? Audrey met my gaze steadily. We were scared. Of reactions like your husband's. Her words stung, forcing me to confront our family's facade of openness. Deep down, I knew she was right. Tom's conservative roots ran deep, planted by his military father who saw the world in black and white. As we talked, Audrey opened up about her own struggles, coming out to her liberal parents who embraced her, but facing backlash from extended family. It's not just about us, she said. It's about fighting for a place in a world that still questions our right to love. Her passion ignited something in me, a flicker of admiration amid the chaos. But doubt lingered. What if this was a mistake? What if Ella was confusing friendship for romance? I voiced it and Audrey's face hardened. It's real, Mrs. Harlan. Denying it won't change that. Walking home, I wrestled with my biases, the internalized judgments from my upbringing. Was I perpetuating the cycle of shame? That evening, the confrontation I dreaded erupted. Tom cornered Ella in the living room. This isn't you, he growled. It's a phase influenced by that girl. Ella's face contorted in pain. Dad, Audrey isn't influencing me. She's who I love. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she stood her ground. I intervened, my voice shaking. Tom, stop. You're hurting her. He turned on me. And you're enabling it. What about our values? Our family? The room crackled with tension, words flying like daggers. Ella fled to her room, slamming the door, leaving Tom and me in a standoff. That night, he slept on the couch, the divide widening. In the quiet hours, my mind raced. I thought of my own suppressed feelings. A college crush on a roommate I dismissed as admiration. Had I chosen safety over truth? Ella's courage shamed me, but it also inspired. The next day I sought therapy, booking an appointment with a counselor specializing in family dynamics. "It's normal to feel conflicted," she said during our session. "But love isn't a choice. Acceptance is." Her words echoed as I drove home, fueling a resolve to bridge the gap. Ella and Audrey's relationship, once hidden, now spilled into the open, testing alliances. Friends reacted variably, some supportive, others distant. At a neighborhood barbecue, whispers followed them, eyes lingering too long. Ella confided in me later, her voice breaking. "It hurts, Mom, knowing people see us as different." I held her, my heart aching. "You're not different, you're brave." But inside, fear gnawed. Would this scrutiny break them? Audrey, ever the psychologist in training, encouraged therapy for all of us. "We need to process this," she urged. Reluctantly, Tom agreed to a family session, his pride cracking under the weight of isolation. The session was raw, emotions laid bare. Tom admitted his fears of losing the daughter he envisioned, of societal judgment. "I want what's best for you," he told Ella, voice thick. She nodded, tears flowing. "Best for me is Audrey." Audrey sat quietly, her presence a silent support. As we left, a fragile truce formed, but I knew it was tenuous. Back home, Ella and I talked late into the night. "I almost broke up with her," she confessed, "to make Dad happy." The admission floored me. "Don't sacrifice yourself, Ella. The cost is too high." Her hug was fierce, a reminder of the bonds we were fighting to preserve. Yet challenges mounted. Ella's boss, overhearing office gossip, pulled her aside. "Be discreet," he advised, masking discrimination as concern. Rage boiled in me when she told me. "That's illegal," I said, my lawyer instincts kicking in. But Ella shrugged it off. "It's reality." Audrey faced similar at school. A professor's subtle bias in grading. Their love, once a private joy, now exacted public tolls. I watched them navigate it, hand in hand, their resilience awe-inspiring yet heartbreaking. Would the world ever catch up? Or would they pay forever? As weeks turned to months, the initial shock gave way to a simmering undercurrent of change. Tom and I attended more therapy, peeling back layers of our own prejudices. He confessed his fear stemmed from ignorance, from stories of outcasts in his youth. "I don't want that for her," he said, voice cracking. I nodded, sharing my own buried secrets. Maybe we all have parts we've hidden. The sessions fostered empathy, but progress was slow, punctuated by setbacks. One night, Tom exploded over a trivial argument, hurling old accusations. Ella retreated, Audrey her solace, leaving me to mediate. The emotional labor exhausted me, but I pushed on, determined not to let fear win. Ella and Audrey's bond deepened amid the turmoil, their decisions reflecting the high stakes. They moved in together, renting a small apartment downtown, a bold step that screamed independence. "We need space," Ella explained, packing boxes. I helped, masking my ache with smiles. Watching them load the U-Haul, I felt a mix of pride and loss. My baby girl stepping into her own world, one I wasn't fully part of. Tom grumbled but helped carry furniture, a grudging acceptance. Yet inside I worried. Would this isolate them further? Society's gaze was unrelenting, from subtle exclusions to outright hostility. At a family reunion in Chicago, the truth surfaced explosively. My brother, Uncle Mike, cornered Ella. "Heard about your lifestyle. Not sure it's appropriate around the kids." His words, laced with judgment, ignited fury in me. "Her lifestyle is love, Mike. What's yours, bigotry?" The room fell silent, relatives shifting uncomfortably. Ella stood tall, Audrey by her side, but later in the hotel she broke down. "Why does it have to be a fight?" Audrey held her, whispering reassurances, but the damage lingered. That night I questioned everything, our move to Seattle for progress, only to face the same old walls. Was acceptance a myth? Back home, professional repercussions hit harder. Audrey lost an internship opportunity. The interviewer, citing fit issues after a social media deep dive, revealed their relationship. "It's discrimination," she fumed, pacing the apartment. Ella comforted her, but tension brewed. "Maybe we should tone it down," Ella suggested, doubt creeping in. Audrey recoiled. "Tone down who we are? That's betrayal." The argument escalated, voices rising, exposing cracks in their unity. I overheard on a visit, my heart sinking. Love under siege demanded sacrifices, authenticity or safety. They chose the former, but at what cost? My own marriage strained under the weight. Tom and I argued more, his resentment bubbling. This is changing everything, he accused. For her. I countered. It's revealing who we are. One evening he packed a bag. I need time. The door closed with finality, leaving me alone with echoes of failure. Had supporting Ella cost me my husband? The irony burned, fighting for her love while mine crumbled. Ella called, sensing my distress. Mom, don't blame yourself. But blame festered, intertwined with guilt. Audrey's family provided contrast, inviting us for dinner. Her parents, warm and accepting, shared stories of their own advocacy. It gets better, her mom assured. But does it? I wondered, seeing the toll on the girls. Ella confided her inner turmoil. Sometimes I wish I was straight. Life would be easier. The admission pierced me. Easier isn't happier, I replied, drawing from my evolving perspective. Yet her doubt mirrored mine. Moral quandaries of forcing conformity versus embracing truth. A turning point came at Pride Parade, where Ella and Audrey marched hand in hand. I joined, rainbow flag in hand, Tom's absence a shadow. The energy was electric, but counter-protesters hurled slurs, a reminder of hatred's persistence. Ella's resolve hardened. This is why we fight. Back home, she confronted Tom upon his return. Dad, accept me or lose me. The ultimatum hung heavy, forcing him to choose. He chose family, albeit imperfectly, attending a support group. Progress, but scarred. The girls' relationship weathered storms, but betrayal loomed. A mutual friend, jealous or judgmental, outed them on social media, sparking online harassment. Trolls flooded their inboxes, venomous words chipping at their spirits. Audrey withdrew, questioning everything. Is it worth it? She asked Ella in a heated moment. Ella's response was fierce. You are. They reconciled, stronger, but the incident left wounds. I watched helpless as they paid the price of visibility. Society's maw was insatiable, demanding pieces of their souls. Would they emerge whole? With Tom's tentative acceptance, family dynamics shifted, but external pressures intensified. Ella's workplace became a minefield after the outing, colleagues' whispers, a demotion disguised as reorganization. It's because of us, Audrey lamented, guilt etching her features. Ella shook her head. No, it's because of them. Their dialogue, raw and tense, highlighted the moral tightrope they walked. Sacrifice love for career? Or fight, risking all? They chose fight, Ella filing a complaint with HR, backed by my legal advice. The process was grueling, depositions dredging up personal details, exposing vulnerabilities. I feel naked, Ella confessed, her voice trembling. I held her, whispering strength, but inside, rage simmered at a system that punished authenticity. Audrey's studies suffered too, focus fractured by anxiety. A presentation on LGBTQ+ mental health turned personal when a classmate challenged her. How can you be objective? The bias stung, fueling her determination but draining her energy. At home, tensions flared. Small arguments over chores escalating into deeper fears. What if we can't make it? Audrey voiced one night. Ella's response was a quiet vow. We will, because giving up means they win. Their resilience inspired yet heartbreaking. Young love shouldn't bear such burdens. Family holidays tested the fragile peace. Thanksgiving brought relatives, their politeness masking discomfort. Aunt Carol pulled me aside. Is it really okay? Her concern veiled judgment. Yes, I asserted, but doubt flickered. Tom's support wavered under scrutiny, leading to a private clash. I can't keep defending this, he admitted. Then don't, I snapped. Support it. The exchange left us raw, marriage on thin ice. Ella noticed, her guilt compounding. I'm sorry for causing this. Her words broke me. You're not causing, society is. But the truth offered little solace. A betrayal from within struck hardest. Linda, my sister, once an ally, confided worries about influence on her kids. They're impressionable. The call ended in tears, trust shattered. I confronted her, voice shaking. You're no better than the bigots. The rift widened, family fracturing along fault lines of acceptance. Ella and Audrey, witnessing it, drew closer, their bond a fortress. But isolation crept in, friends drifting, invitations waning. "We're pariahs," Audrey joked bitterly. Ella's laugh was forced. Inside, they grappled with the cost. Happiness tainted by loss. Seeking escape, they planned a getaway, but even that soured. A hotel clerk sneer at check-in, muttering about room for 2 ladies. Humiliation burned, turning romance to resistance. Back home, they advocated joining local groups, channeling pain into purpose. "We have to change things," Ella declared. Audrey nodded, but exhaustion showed. The moral dilemma peaked. Persist and suffer, or retreat and survive. They persisted, but scars accumulated. Tom's breakthrough came unexpectedly. At a support meeting, he shared his journey, tears flowing. "I was wrong." The admission healed some wounds, drawing us closer. Dinner that night was tentative laughter, a glimpse of normalcy. Yet shadows lingered, societal reforms slow, personal battles ongoing. Ella confided her deepest fear. What if love isn't enough? Audrey's reassurance was tender, but uncertainty hovered. As winter set in, a crisis hit. Audrey's grandmother, conservative and ailing, demanded a visit sans Ella. Family only. The ultimatum forced a choice. Honor blood or love. Audrey went alone, the separation agonizing. Ella paced, inner monologue turbulent. Am I asking too much? Should I let her go? Upon return, Audrey's resolve shone. I told her everything. She has to accept or lose me. The stand empowered, but rejection stung. Grandmother's silence was a wound. The cumulative toll manifested in health. Ella's anxiety spiking, Audrey's insomnia. Therapy helped, but the price of their love was evident. Emotional bankruptcy. I watched, heart heavy, questioning if I'd guide them better. Society's grindstone wore them down. Yet they endured, decisions defining them. Would the dawn bring relief, or more darkness? Spring brought tentative renewal, but the battles persisted. Ella's HR complaint yielded a settlement. Reinstated position, sensitivity training. But victory felt hollow amid lingering resentment. It's a start, she said, but her eyes held weariness. Audrey graduated, cap and gown a symbol of triumph. Yet job hunts revealed biases. Interviews stalling at personal questions. They see my LinkedIn, the pride posts, she vented. Ella's support was unwavering, but strain showed in quiet moments. We're paying for being us, Audrey whispered one night. The acknowledgement hung, a testament to their sacrifices. Family mended unevenly. Tom organized a barbecue, inviting Audrey formally. Welcome to the family, he toasted, voice gruff but sincere. Tears flowed, bridges rebuilt, but not without cost. Lost time, hurt words. Uncle Mike apologized awkwardly, prompted by his wife's nudge. Acceptance trickled, but societal floods loomed. A local bill targeting LGBTQ+ rights sparked protests. Ella and Audrey marched, signs high, voices hoarse. Arrests nearby heightened fears. This could be us, Ella fretted. Their activism deepened commitment but amplified risks. Moral crossroads abounded. Safety or solidarity? They chose both, balancing carefully. Betrayal resurfaced via an ex-friend's smear campaign online. Dredging old photos, twisting narratives. Harassment escalated, threats, doxing. Panic set in, they changed locks, monitored accounts. Why us? Ella raged inwardly. Audrey's calm masked terror. Police reports filed, but indifference stung. Not a priority. The system's apathy fueled disillusion. I offered shelter, but they declined. We stand together. Their defiance inspired, yet terrifying. The price? Peace of mind forfeited. In quiet reflection, Ella questioned her path. Did I choose wrong? Memories of first kisses, stolen moments affirmed no. Audrey echoed, their love a beacon amid storms. Yet doubts persisted, dreams deferred, futures uncertain. A job offer for Audrey in New York tempted relocation. Fresh start, she mused. Ella hesitated. But family? The decision loomed, weighing roots against freedom. Tom urged staying. We've come far. But progress felt fragile. The climax brewed at a community event. A panel on equality featured Audrey, her speech poignant. Love demands no apologies. Applause thundered, but a heckler shouted slurs. Chaos ensued. Security intervened. Ella rushed on stage, protective. In the aftermath, they clung together, shaken but unbroken. "We can't stop," Audrey declared. Ella nodded, resolve stealing. As summer approached, equilibrium teetered. Tom's health scare, a minor heart episode, united us, priorities sharpening. "Family first," he said from the hospital bed. Ella and Audrey visited, his grip on their hands a silent blessing. Recovery fostered gratitude, softening edges. Yet the world outside raged on, court rulings, media storms. They navigated, paying dues in resilience. In the end, their story wasn't tidy resolution but ongoing struggle. Ella proposed to Audrey under Seattle's stars, a quiet vow amid chaos. Through it all, acceptance rang but questions lingered. Society evolved slowly, personal costs mounting. They forged ahead, love their compass. But was it right to demand such sacrifices for love? Or does society bear the moral failing?